Welcome to the Speaking Podcast. You can find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. We're also on BitChute and YouTube. I also have the Awakening Podcast, Learn Polish Podcast, the Meditation Podcast, and the Crypto Podcast, and all can be found on mygon.com. Today, my guest is actually a friend of mine. I met him on Lunch Club sometime last year, and then he brought me into a mastermind club, and I've seen his skill set. Is actually, please welcome Mike Patterson.
That's me. Right. Thanks, Roy. So, shall I do a quick intro about me?
Please do. You might let the listeners know. Who's Mike?
Originally from UK. My father was military. We moved around 25 times. First moved when I was 6 months old. Then when I was 4, we moved to Hong Kong. So I left school to go to boarding school when I was 10 and a half. I left home permanently 3 days after my 16th birthday. I joined the military. At 17 and a half, I left UK. And by the age of 23, I've been all the way around the world, twice. So traveled to more than 50 countries on 6 continents. I've spent the last 40 odd years in the Middle East and North Africa, the last 26 in Dubai. My background, marine engineer, mechanical engineer. I ran maintenance facilities for the military, the UN, all across the Middle East, including 9 years for the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed. About 20-something years ago, I got into corporate training. I've trained on over 30 different subjects. I'm a generalist, I'm not a specialist. And since middle of 2006, I've been a coach consultant, helping businesses double, triple, quadruple revenues and profits. How's that?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's impressive at 23 years of age to circumnavigate the globe twice. So that was with the Navy, obviously going to different ports and things like that.
Yeah, I wanted to travel, so I went to the Queen, who paid me to travel, which I thought was a good thing to do, you know.
And am I right? That was it in Trinity that you actually studied to be an engineer?
No, in the Navy.
Oh, it was the Navy?
I later got a BSc from Trinity, but yeah, the Navy trained me to be a marine engineer. And actually, I was the first person to transfer from the Navy to the Army. So I was the first person to go from the senior to the junior service. And the Army trained me to be a mechanical engineer. And my expertise was heavy equipment. You know, the big Caterpillar construction equipment. So go on any construction site. I've probably operated every piece of equipment there. I've stripped it down, rebuilt it, put it all back together again, you know, and I did that for what, 30 years, I think.
And what was the transition like going from the Navy to the military?
Interesting. I found, I would say there's more self-discipline in the Navy because, you know, you got 500 people on a ship that's at sea, you know, for 2 months. I think our record was 63 days at sea. Didn't even get near land. This was when we were, you know, up and down Beira. The deck of the ship got so hot, we actually cooked an egg on the deck. We put a little bit of oil, then we cracked an egg, and like within a 2 minute, we got a you know, a hard-boiled egg, or not a hard-boiled, a fried egg. Yeah. And we went fishing, and you know, people tell fishing stories. And we say, you know, my fish was like this big. Well, the biggest fish we caught was like this big. Between the eyes. It was 11.5-foot shark.
And what's it like being 2 months at sea? Like, is it depressing, or is it do you all kind of keep each other's spirits up? Because that seems very, you know, and like, how big were the ships actually that you were on as well?
Well, this what's called destroyers. So there was about 530 people on board. And we do what's called watch keeping. So you could do like 4 hours on, 4 hours off, 4 hours on, 4 hours off, 4 hours on, and then you're off for X amount of time. But we were short-staffed at the time. We only had we had 2/3 of the complement. So we were working what's called 1 in 3, 4 on, 8 off, 4 on, 8 off, 4 on, 8 off, 4 on, 8 off. And if it was during working hours, we were working during the 8 hours. And then the skipper of the ship said, you guys are looking a bit tired, like after a month. Said, put them 1 in 2. I said, you crazy? 1 in 2 is 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off. And if it's, 8 a.m. when you come off till 12, you're working during that. Grab a quick dinner, you're on from 12 till 4, then you're off till whatever, and you're like this, like 3 or 4 weeks of this, you're just dead on your feet. I did 99 hours straight with 3 hours sleep. I was in bed for 17 hours, then I did another 99 hours with 3 hours sleep. So in like 9 days, I did 188 hours of work, or something like 198 hours of work. The military push you just to see how much you can stand. Where are people going to break down? And they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and extending, what can we do? And in the army, I was in Germany, 55,000 people. Their job was to stop the Russians reaching the French border, right, the French coast, within 48 hours. That's it. Every single person was, right, expendable. And what I found was the closer I got to the East German border, the longer became my life expectancy. Very strange.
Yeah, it's terrifying stuff to be dealing with.
All the bridges in Germany at the time, this is in the 70s, had holes in the supports where they could put explosives and blow the bridges up, just in case the Russians came, Cold War stuff. So if the Russians invaded, all the bridges in Germany were just ready to, within like 12 hours, they could all have been collapsed.
Interesting. And just with the Trinity, then did you actually do that online, or did you go to Dublin to?
No, online.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. And I know that you're a continuous learner, because even the different courses and everything. And you might tell me what different, because I looked at a few of them actually. There was a coaching diploma from Bridgestone Associates, and then presentation skills. There's a list of different things that you've done. So I suppose with the presentation skills, let's jump back a step and go. I know you get competent in the military, but were you like standing in front of people? Was that something that fazed you, or is it something you had to work on? Every speaker still gets butterflies. We say the thing you've got to do is teach them to fly in formation, because you walk into a room, even if it's a small room, 15, 20 people, and you've never met them before, you have no idea the reception. I remember one time I was doing training in Abu Dhabi. It's like 140, 50 clicks. Friday is the only day the people got off. Just as I was walking into the room, 43 people, director of the company says, oh, by the way, we had the same training last week, but the trainer was rubbish. Right? So you can imagine me walking into this room of 43 people and everybody like second week, no day off, and like this. I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. But at the end of the 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it was, I got 4s and 5s out of 5s. But you walk into that and everybody, eyes crossed, arms crossed, legs crossed, everything, I don't want to be here. And to sort of turn that around, it's interesting. Well, I suppose there's a lot of people that actually go through that. So what's your tips on doing that? Because, you know, some people have never faced it, but it can happen to them.
Just be yourself, right? Don't try and, I'll say, BS people, because they will see through. Just be genuine. Just go in there with, it's all about them, it's not about you. If you go in looking about, well, it's all about me. Hi, how are you? Here I am, on a wonderful sort of thing, not going to work. So whatever you do, it's all about them and giving them the best experience and getting them involved. So with speaking, we say 11 minutes. 11 minutes max, you either take a break or you involve them. If you don't do that, you've lost them. So you've always got to be asking questions and checking on what you're doing. But as I said, I've trained on over 30 different subjects. So I studied 30 different things. And my biggest audience was 9,000. Interesting. And over the past 20 odd years, I've probably spent 2 to 3 hours a day studying. I've listened to over 10,000 hours of audiobooks. I've flown around the world. I've walked on fire with Tony Robbins. I've broken arrows with my throat. I flew to America to attend a 4-day weekend with Jim Rohn before he passed away. And Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor.
Yes,
when
correct.
Tony
Yeah. I have loads of Jim Rohn books. I'm a big Jim Rohn fan.
Yeah, guy was brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, I met him, and I met Zig. I didn't meet Zig. He died before I could get to meet him. But Brian Tracy is another guy I really, really like. Dennis Waitley I met Dennis Waitley was involved with NASA.
That's right.
Yeah. When astronauts first went to the moon, they came back and they got depressed because that had been their goal since they were like a kid. And Dennis worked with, you know, the astronauts to make sure they had goals when they came back, and gold medal worth athletes. Again, this had been an ambition for years to get the gold. And then after that, what's next, you know? So he would work with these sort of people. Brilliant guy.
I have a lot of his CDs as well, and he was more into the psychology because he kind of understood at an early age before other people that if you visualize it, it's as good as practicing, and he was doing both, and he was getting amazing results.
Yeah, guy was good. So yeah, I think it was 2004 that I actually met him in Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy. I did all 3 in one go.
Brilliant. No, that's I would have loved to meet Jim Rohn. Yeah, because I read his books every year. They're the type of books, they just motivate you, and he just has a way with words. You know, when you're reading his book, and it's just beautiful the way he portrays it. And I highly recommend it.
Yeah, if you take him, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, they all say the same sort of thing. But Jim just stands behind the lectern and talks. But, you know, every word he says is gold. But you look at Zig Ziglar, Zig Ziglar's up and down the stage, he's in the audience, he's an entertainer as well. And I really, really want to see Zig. The guy's unbelievable. I've got a fair amount of his stuff as well.
Yeah, I've got his CDs as well.
Lovely.
Yeah. I thought his son might actually start kind of, because he was taking his son around. I thought his son might try to replicate it, but I haven't seen him. You know, maybe he is doing that. I don't know, but I don't think he's getting the same publicity if he is.
Yeah, Zig was all of them, the icons in the industry. You know who's credited with being the grandfather of personal development?
What's him in The Greatest Secret guy, is it? No?
Yeah, Earl Nightingale.
Yeah.
1956. First talking record to sell 1 million copies.
And I heard apparently he was doing it for the staff, and then it developed from there because he used to kind of motivate the sales staff.
Yep, it was done for salespeople originally, and then it just exploded. Yeah.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
he's obviously Nightingale Conant, it's Earl Nightingale and Vic Conant is where they partnered up to now one of the biggest companies in the world doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I've got almost everything he's done.
And
right.
like the amount of people that don't, I mean, I've spoken to a few people recently, and I was just, kind of asking what are they reading or whatever. The amount of people that never follow up after they leave college, and I find that frightening. Like I'm pushing my 8-year-old son to read books, and he's loving it, and we're having a competition who can read the most books by the end of the year. But there's people that I know that they've done masters and everything, and they don't listen to one audiobook or read one book. And I mean, you're like myself, continuous learner, and I'll never change.
Yeah, the average person, it's more than 80%, never read another meaningful book after they leave college. Never, ever, ever.
And
right?
I mean, I'm shocked actually at the price sometimes, because you get a very good book from 15, 20 bucks. And when you consider the knowledge that somebody, I mean, obviously there's not all brilliant book, but there is some golden diamond. There is amazing books out there. And for 20 bucks, you wouldn't get a meal for it. And yet, people don't invest.
I mentioned Brian Tracy earlier. So he says for a 6 or 7 hour workshop seminar that he may never, ever repeat, he will do 1,000 hours of research. That's 6 months of 40-hour working weeks, 5 days a week. He will read 500 books, articles, magazines, and condense all of that into 6 or 7 hours. So by listening to him or watching him, whatever, for 6 or 7 hours, I can shortcut 1,000 hours of my time. Why on earth would I not want to listen to him? Right?
Exactly.
And if you say general knowledge is doubling every 2 years, what that means is if you finish your education 2016, 2018, 50% of your knowledge irrelevant or obsolete. 2020, 75% of your knowledge irrelevant or obsolete. 2022, this year, 82.5% of your knowledge irrelevant or obsolete. And when something like COVID hits, these are the people who don't upgrade the skills, they let go first. And then the worry, well, I'm 20 years here and you fired me. Yes, of course. It's not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. Upgrade your skills. You're not doing it, I expect to be fired, guys. That's it.
No, absolutely. And like I've got a few friends that were in the military, and one thing I've noted is they are so well systemized. Like, and I know from you as well, because we have our conversations bi-weekly, and you've helped me a lot. You've got amazing, but you've got access to the stuff, and you know exactly where it is. So, like, obviously, I can see you're the exact same. And is that something that they're training them straight away to make them kind of everything has a place and there's a place for everything?
Yeah, I would think so, because especially on a ship, especially on the Navy, anything's out of place, they throw it. Right? So I lost my coat once. I left it out, they threw it, right? It took me basically 2 weeks revenue to buy a replacement. After that, you learn really quickly, When you've got nothing, you get paid like twice a month. And that's it. I've got nothing for like, okay, it's much easier to put things away, to be tidy, to get up, make your bed. So a little bit of discipline. And I hate it when I can't find things. I occasionally put things right, and then I forget, where the heck did I put that? Who moved my arm? I get really annoyed, come on, I knew I had it somewhere. And I find as I'm getting older, my short-term memory is not, I can remember stuff from 50 years ago, not a problem. Like 50 minutes, I leave the kitchen, go into another room. So what the heck am I here for? Walk in the kitchen. Oh, that's it, right? Go back again, you know?
I think we all do that.
Yeah, oh, I need this. And I'm thinking about something. I walk out and, what am I doing in here? Oh, come on. I walk back. Oh, that's what I need. See something triggers the memory.
Like what I have is in the entrance to the house, just around the corner, there's like a cupboard there, and I have a box, and I have my phone, the wallet, and the keys, and I never lose them. I always have them. But the amount of people that freak out and they're constantly searching around, and they cause, like, I suppose, friction in the house because, and it's just a simple thing of everything kind of has a place, and there's a place for everything.
Yeah, I really admit I'm lazy. I am really one of the laziest. Why do I need to put things in its place, right? I know where they are. And like you, my keys are actually in the door, right? That's it. When I go out, it's on the door. When I cycle, I've got a stand for my mobile because I track where I cycle. And I just hang on there. I know where stuff is. I don't want to waste time hunting all over the place for stuff. So I usually put everything same place, right? I'm lazy. Why just, oh, there it is. Thank you very much. Goodbye. No, next, move on. Yeah, I firmly believe in what I call the KISS principle. Keep it short and simple. What's the easiest way of doing this? This. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. You know, I'm lazy. I have no problem telling people I am really, really lazy. Let me find the easiest, simplest way of doing it. That's what I'm going to do. Why do you want to make things complicated? It doesn't make sense.
No, absolutely. And with, say, like the workshops then, that how are you structuring it? Do you have something that is making you trigger what you're doing? Is it slides? What's your kind of structure when you're, because I know you've done a load of with different clients as well, oil and gas and UN and everything. You know, you've got massive clients that you've worked with.
Yeah, I've worked with entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, startups, national, international, multinational, Fortune 500 billion dollar companies. And it's, you know, strategy, planning, all this sort of stuff. So it's free flowing. Do I have a structure? Yes. Do I have slides, PowerPoint? Yes. But sometimes, see, a PowerPoint is an aide-memoire, it's an aid to memory. I have a habit of looking at the slide, then I blank it. I don't want people reading the slide. I want people focusing on me. And where I see there's an interest, I can go deeper into the subject. And it's frequently taken me 2 days to do 3 slides because I see the feedback I'm getting from people, the interest. Okay, we can go deeper into this. My purpose, whenever I train, whenever I work with people, training, it's knowledge transfer. It's not get through the slides. It's not how can I give you knowledge that you can use. So that's where I come from all the time. So training, it's you find this interesting, great, let's go into this in more detail. If I'm getting 0 feedback, okay, move on, next slide, let's see where the interest lies. And I can put up a lot of different stuff. And when it starts getting reaction, great, blank the slide, let's talk about it. Finish that subject, even if it takes an hour or 2, it doesn't matter. Next.
Excellent. So I know, like, just quickly, because I want to get into the business side, because I'm, you know, entrepreneur myself. But like, you're a founding member of a Toast. Is it Garden? What was it? Garden Toastmasters in
Garden Toastmasters. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I think maybe 2002. I got involved in Toastmasters. Got up to, I think, so you DTM, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up there, and that was with, I think, Star of Arabia, which was a long way from where I lived. And then we formed Gardens, which is like 3 kilometers from where I lived. So I became, I think, the treasurer with that for a year. So I was a founding member of that. About 2 years ago, I revisited Gardens Toastmasters, and they didn't, because, you know, it's probably about 15 years, right? It had been going, and they were talking and said, yeah, you know, I was a treasurer, founding member of this. Really? Yeah, okay. So whenever they had, like, what is that exercise? They just read out
Table topics.
They drag table topics. I hate it, right? I don't think well on my feet. I like to mull things over, you know, and think about things. And obviously, because the chapter director or whatever it is knew I was a founding member, obviously table topics, I'm going to be pulled up, right? Right, that was obvious from the moment I took a seat. Whatever he needs, I'm going to be pulled up.
I actually like the table topics. It was something that I was terrified because I didn't enjoy public speaking till I went to Toastmasters. So the first time when I joined the club, it was actually a chartered member, one of the clubs, so it was a new club, and the guy that got me to sign up says, oh yeah, you have to do a speech. So I was actually the first person to actually do the speech the following week as well. I just assumed that was normal. And yeah, and then after that, I paused halfway through it and everything. I was terrified, but they kept doing table, and I won so many times in table topics, and I entered competitions as well. And I nearly always got past the first round, you know, get out of the club and into the next one. And yeah, it's yeah, best evaluator, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've all them improvements. Yeah. But they stopped doing that in a lot of clubs, and I think it's a great thing because, you know, because you can, I don't know what they cost. They're not that expensive, but it means something. You know, it's nice to get it. And when you consider, you know, each club has got different amount of members, 10, 20, 30, whatever, you know, but when you're getting a few of these, it's just kind of gives you the courage to keep going and realize, hey, I've done this. And when you get a few of them, you've kind of seen, oh, I've made a big transition here.
Yeah, it is probably the best medium. If you want to get up and talk, anybody who says, join Toastmasters. The cost is almost nothing.
It's like
$45
or $50 for 6 months. It's nothing, basically.
Yeah, it's almost nothing. But yeah, I mean, almost, if you look at a lot of the well-known speakers worldwide, some of the top speakers in the world started in Toastmasters. It's where they started their speaking career. So yeah, whenever anybody says they're apprehensive about getting up in front of people, see where your local chapter of Toastmasters is. Go and look. Go and join.
Yeah, and I always tell people, if you really want to kind of develop your skills fast, take every role every week, just constantly. You know, there was times when the little amount of people would turn up. I might take 3 roles and I think I could be the table topics master and I'd be doing something else as well. And like be the Toastmaster. So basically you're in charge of the meeting. I used to do that. Loads of people don't want to do that. I thought this is the best. I'm getting 2 hours, you know, basically because you're calling up speakers, you're making the team, you talk about what you want, and it's a brilliant way to practice. And that's how I just kind of said, there's no kind of fearing anything. Like the evaluation at once, I didn't do my first evaluation for 6 months because I was terrified. And then later, you know, I just, and I won, I got out, I don't know, did I ever get past the district there, the area, but I definitely won in the club for evaluations. And it was just, yeah, you basically, I was terrified.
It's there. I think that one there, that's from Toastmasters. That's Judge.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, I was on the judging, you know, when you go international and whatever. So I was a judge frequently in that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time I was a little bit apprehensive, and say, oh, good, this isn't so bad.
Exactly. You know, it's just the fair, and then once you do it, you just keep going. But no, I'd highly recommend Toastmasters. So I want to delve into the most important topic, which is basically helping businesses, because you know I know it's your skill set. You've like we've talked about the studying, which is continuous learning. So with companies, because I know that you put groups together as well. You might talk about that. Tell them what you're actually putting together at the moment. You've got groups that are.
I'm putting together a board of directors, of business owners, and my goal is to help them. We're going to double revenue in 12 months, quadruple it in 24 months, and 10 times their income in 36 months. And you know what? You only need a 6.6% increase in revenue each month, so that after 36 months, you've got actually 1,000% growth. It's not 20%, 50% in one go. It's just a little bit incremental growth each and every month. 6.6% growth over 36 months will increase your business 1,000-fold in 36 months. It's not difficult. Most businesses, and I've probably worked with or looked at more than 1,500 businesses in 40 different industries. And people saying, my industry is different. Food and beverage, different. Manufacturing, different. Retail, different. No, the metrics of business are the same. And most people aren't measuring. As you know from our time together in our mastermind group, everything, I'm fanatical about numbers. Really, it's with me, it's all about numbers. And if most people aren't measuring what they're doing, they're looking at the numbers, but looking at the wrong things. I would say 90% of products and services out there are wrongly priced. I keep going and looking at websites of businesses. They're all selling products and services. Nobody buys products and services. Nobody, not you, not me, not anybody. Buy something completely different. Everybody's out there selling products and services. Nobody cares. I interact with business owners. I say, okay, go to your website, read a line of what you've written, and then say the words, so what? We do this. Okay, so what? As in, so what? What does that mean to me, the potential client? Who cares? You know, at the end of the day, people don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. And if you're talking about me, they are not interested. They don't care. Everything we do is going to be focused on them, not on us. Nobody cares about us. How can you help them? We've been in business for 20 years. Okay, so what? Well, the fact that only one business out of 100 makes it past the 10-year mark, and we've been here for 20 years, probably means we're doing something right and we're not going away anytime soon. Ah, okay, now it makes sense. But just to say we've been in business for 20 years, people aren't going to think it through. Yeah. So I always start doing, okay, you know, what's your average customer lifetime? Don't know. How long in business? 40 years. Okay, good. How much do they spend in this? Don't know. Okay, cool. Right. What's your average customer acquisition cost? Don't know. Do you get business from referrals? Yes. How much? I don't know, a couple of million a year. How many structured ongoing referral programs do you have? None. Can you explain that to me, please? Because that doesn't make sense. You're getting a couple of $1 million a year from referrals, but you don't have an actual program that goes into operation every time someone buys. Come on, guys. And I know of over 90, different unstructured, unduplicated referral programs. People use marketing one way. I know of over 200 different ways to use marketing, types. Each type is a different income stream. Why are you using one? Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So you're basically systemizing their business so that, you know, if their son wants to come in the morning and take over, it'll be a lot easier than it most of the time it's in the CEO's head.
Yep. If you want to sell a business, I mean, when you start a business, why are you starting it? A lot of businesses I talk to say, okay, why did you start your business? Make money. No, that is not the purpose of a business. Making money is a side product. Purpose of a business is to get and keep a customer. If you do that, you make money. If you don't, you won't. And you don't focus on the first sale, you actually focus on the second sale. Because I'll say sales people deal in promises, right? I promise you that if you give me some money, I will sell you a product or service that will do ABC. The second sale proves that I delivered on my promise. Make sense? Yeah. So you're promising, but okay, thank you very much, you bought, and when's the next time I'm going to contact you? Well, when I have something else to sell you. Not a good idea, guys, because after a time, it's all about you. We have this product, so we have this product, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. There's something called the larger market formula. It comes from a guy called Sabri Subri. It says $100 million worth of revenue or research, $100 million. Larger market formula says only 3% of your ideal market is in buying mode at any one time. 17% have a problem and they're actively searching for a solution. 20% don't even know they have a problem, or sorry, know they have a problem, it's just not hurting enough. And 60% don't even know they got a problem yet. And everybody's trying to sell to the 3%. It's a crowded market, it's red ocean. Why aren't you educating the other 97%? And you do it in a systemized way. And most people aren't doing that. They're all shouting at 3%, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. We do this and we do that and we do. Nobody cares, so what? Very strange.
And like with the referrals, you said you've got 90 different forms of referrals. I mean, obviously there's one that you can ask the person, can you refer if you're happy with the service? You might give us a few others that for referrals.
Okay, for referrals, I have two prices when I work with someone. Here's my normal price, but I'm willing to give you a 20% reduction in price if you say you will give me 2 referrals. A referral is not a name and a number. A referral is someone you've talked to and said, you need to talk to Mike. And they're calling me saying, my friend Roy said, I need to talk to you. My business is a problem. Right? Yeah. There's a story of a dentist in Australia. The average dentist in Australia makes about $60,000 a year and works, I don't know, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, whatever it is. So what this doctor did, he said, buy referral only. He changed his waiting room into like a cafeteria, you know, with booths. So whenever a new client comes, he sits down, he gives them coffee, whatever, gets to know them, says, you know, why are you here? What do you want? Etc., etc., etc. He makes, I think, somewhere in the region of $250,000, and he works like a 25-hour week. If someone knocks on the door, because the door's closed, who has an emergency, he says, I'm sorry, you can only come here by referral. However, let me phone a friend of mine and he will direct. He will not take walk-ins, right? And his business has gone from, you know, like 60K a year to like 250K. And all he does is referral. I will only do business with you if and he's got a waiting list of people, right? It's just changing your business model a little bit. It's not rocket science.
And I know we discussed actually together about, some people, they have like kind of one form of income for their business, and like you're kind of diversify a bit. So you might kind of touch on that as well, because I think it's important.
Yeah, I actually posted on LinkedIn. I was hoping I was going to be controversial, if you like. I said, to me, if you're not different, you're the same. And if you're the same, you're a commodity, and a commodities are always differentiated on price, right? So I'm not the same. When people question my price, I'd say, let me think about it. I think about the value I'm giving to a business. I come back and I higher my price. I don't lower it, I higher it. I did it with a friend of mine, right? We've known each other 25 years. He started a company, he wanted my help, so I quoted him less than half of what I normally quote people, less, right? And he started arguing about it. I went, okay, let me think about it. So I came back and I doubled it. I said, you know me for 25 years, and you know the value I give to people. You know the difference yes, okay. So I doubled the price. I said, if you question again, I'll go up again. He said, well, can we go back to, I said, no. And he paid, right?
Brilliant.
So yeah, know your value, guys. If you don't know your value, then you're lowering price, which is a really stupid thing to do. Never mind. So what we're talking about, if this is revenue in a business, right? Most businesses have one major activity generating most of their revenue. It could be, let's say, marketing, and they're using marketing one way, as I just said. I know of over 200 types of marketing. So that is 200 different streams of income that could be coming in. And when something like COVID hits, this is not a stable structure, it collapses. And if you want to increase business 20%, 20% more time, 20% more effort, 20% more people, 20% more investment, 20% more everything on average. So what I help businesses do is develop multiple structures, activities of revenue. So let's say we put 10 in, and each activity has just 2 streams of income. I have 51 activities at the moment, of which we've cataloged around 39. And I've got 39 that I know multiple ways of generating revenue in that area, if you like. And so far, I've got 850 different streams of income that can go into a business. But let's say we've just got 10, each one with 2 streams of income. All you've got to do is increase each stream by 1%. You've got your 20% growth. It's really, really, really simple to increase something 1%. Or it's much easier than increasing one thing 20%. 1% is a piece of cake. Most people aren't measuring what they do. They're putting ads out there, but they're not testing it. They're not seeing what is the result. I was talking with someone the other day, and they say, yeah, well, we've increased our business, from X to Y over the past year, because 2019, 2020, same income. Income doesn't grow. We started investing in social media. We're doing all sorts of different social media, but they're in a shopping mall, and the shopping mall does promotions as well. I said, well, how much your business is coming from Facebook? How much your business is coming from Google Ads? How much your business is coming from Instagram? How much extra business are you getting from, the promotions that the mall does? He says, well, when the mall does a promotion, I increase my budget, and we go from like 300K to 600K. I said, okay, but where's that extra 300K come from? Is it from Facebook? Is it from Google? Is it from Instagram? Is it from the mall? Don't know. Well, one of them might be bringing you 90%, one's losing you money, and the other one's, break. How do you know? You've got to measure. Oh, we're getting lots of likes. I said, I may see a video, Roy does a nice video. Oh, okay, that's really good. I love your video, Roy. Do I buy his product? No. So likes.
Exactly. Yeah. Show me how to convert my likes into money, and I'd be a very rich man. Yeah.
I said, likes are useless. It looks nice. Yeah, we get our likes increased 10% or 20%. Okay. How much more business did you get? Don't know. Okay. What's the point? So we had a 30-minute schedule, but ended up for 2 hours again. Whatever you do, you need to know, is it working? Is it not working? Marketing is an investment, and you should be getting an ROI. And most companies are not getting an ROI. It's an expense. I have digital marketing companies come to me all the time. Let's do your digital marketing. Okay, what's your average ROI? I have one question. What's your average ROI that your clients get from you? Oh, it's complicated. I don't care. What's the average ROI? You want me to spend money with you? I want to know it's an investment. I'm not throwing money down the drain. You know what? I never hear from them again. They just want me to throw money at them so they can post pretty pictures. That is posting. That's not marketing. There's a difference. And they think that posting pretty pictures is marketing. No, it isn't. It's posting. And there's no ROI. So, yeah.
Even for the podcasting, because I'm constantly people reaching out, and I reviewed, like there's some, they do like a test and a different pricing that they give you. But like I reviewed what that was posted, and it was like, I said, you're promoting to podcasting groups. I said, podcasters are not my audience, and that's just a simple explanation of what you're talking about. The amount of people that do that, excuse me, they share the product with the competition instead of knowing where the audience is. Correct.
Yeah. I mean, let's say there's 8 billion people in the world. I'm a numbers guy, okay, and I've said it, right?
You've counted them, haven't you, Mike? You have counted them.
You need 0.0000001%, that's 5 zeros, to have 80 people a year join your business. Who are those 80 people? See, if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, if you're whatever, 80 people is quite a good business a year. Right? You put 6 zeros, you've got 8 people. Who are they? If you do 4 zeros, it's 800 people joining your business. These are the people you want to talk to. I talk to so many businesses who needs my, everybody needs my product. What are you selling? I'm selling a pen. Everybody needs a pen. Okay. There's a 10-second baby just born in a hospital, right? Does he want your pen? No. Okay. There's a guy in the next ward, he's dying from cancer. Does he want your product? No. Okay. So now we've established not everybody's your market. Who's your ideal market? I'm not saying don't say no to the other people, but who is your ideal market? Because these are the people you need to be talking to. You need to be laser, not shotgun. Most people are throwing mud up against the wall, seeing what sticks. Not a lot is sticking, guys. Why don't you use a laser, or use some glue and like glue it to the wall, then it's going to stick. That everybody needs my product. Okay. Is everybody going to buy? There's a 3-year-old, 12-year-old, the marketing to school kids. Okay. Does a 12-year-old have the money? No. So, that's your audience. Your target are the parents. The people you need to be talking to are the parents. You're talking to the kids. Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. If you look at, I don't have the money. Why are you talking to the kids? You need to be talking to the parents. Right? who you're helping, that's one thing. Who's paying for it? That's something completely different. They're not thinking it through. And 80% of businesses crash within 2 years, 3 years. It's not surprising. They're not doing the homework, not doing demographics, not doing psychographics. They're not just looking what the competition does. They're pricing about the same. They're doing exactly the same as the competition. Okay, it's down to price. You're a commodity. A bunch of grapes, a kilo of rice, a liter of milk, commodity, price, that's it. And you're wondering why your business can't make money? Yeah, very strange.
Yeah, no. Listen, Mike, I know I could talk to you for hours, but and I think I have to get you back because what you're sharing is actually gold. And I know that like a lot of business owners, I mean, I'm aware of the amount that actually fail over the years. It's a tiny percentage after 10 years. It's very small. But I do know you, and I have been in the mastermind group, and I see what you're sharing, and I hear you all the time with the knowledge that you've got. So I wouldn't give recommendations highly, but I kind of hold back. But I know you're a systemized guy, and by helping people being systemized with your knowledge, because you have unbelievable amount of knowledge, and I just know that from all our conversations, I would highly recommend people to check out what you're doing. So what's the best way that they can actually get in contact with you?
Well, for the mastermind, I have a website. It is www.businessmastermind.me. So there's information there all about masterminds generally, the advantage of joining a mastermind. And then on the header, you've got the board. That's about my 10x board and helping businesses 10x their revenue. Only maximum 12 people, only one of each industry. I already have some people lined up, so those industries are gone. Yep. So if you think about it, every successful person in the world has a coach or a consultant. Every successful team has a coach or a consultant. And what's his name? Napoleon Hill, right? Think and Grow Rich. One of the first things he talks about is a mastermind group. And he talks about the Chicago Six, of how they would meet once a week and just discuss business. Henry Ford, the guy who started Yellow Cabs, Firestone, these sort of people, and went on to become wildly successful. If, let's say you've got 10 people in a room, each person has 20 years worth of business experience. That's 200 years worth of knowledge you can tap into. Guys, we're not going to live long enough to gather 200 years worth of diverse business knowledge. So a mastermind, it's a chance to look at, maybe the problems that you have, someone else has already been through it and solved it. Einstein said the thinking that got you into the problem is not enough to get you out of the problem. So we can only go with what we already know. Unless you want to spend, like you and I have, 20 years, every day researching. With me, that's over 15,000 hours. If you want to do that, that is 7 years, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year for 7 years to get even close to the amount of knowledge I've got. Right? If you want to do that, carry on. By the time you finish that, I'm going to be 7 years ahead of you again anyway. So you're never going to catch up. It's just simple maths, right? I've already put the work in. Right? If you say my time's just worth $100 an hour, 15,000 hours, $1.5 million I've invested in my education. Right? I don't know. What have you put into yours? It's probably something similar, yeah. It's a huge amount of money if you just look at it like that.
And then I've, like yourself, because we talked about, you've been to Jim Rohn and all these things. These events aren't cheap, because not only are you going to the event, normally you're flying there, you've the accommodation and everything. And I've went to loads. I invest at least 10% into my education between buying books, doing courses, and going to events. And I find that it's the best investment you can do in life. And by actually investing in yourself, it allows you then to have a different mindset with any business. And it's even if you change course, you still have that knowledge.
Yep, that'll never go. You keep expanding your knowledge. And I was having a conversation with a coach this morning. The way I work is we have conversations. They say something, it'll trigger, like, connections start being made in the back of my brain. Oh, you can look at this. You can have a go at this. I want to do webinars. Well, before you do webinars, look at MVP, minimal viable products. Talk to people and see, would they be interested in like a networking group versus a webinar? So but it's when it triggers that, or when someone mentions something, it'll trigger something, and I can come up with answers. That's my biggest problem in a mastermind, is shutting up and listening other people talk. I'm supposed to be there facilitating, but I know I've got a lot of knowledge that a lot of other people don't. So that is my biggest problem, is actually shutting up and facilitating.
Well, you do a very good job, because we're like the group that we've got, we all come back and we're all enjoying it and we're all sharing it. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, you've organized it, you've put us all together, and you pick teams and everything, what we're going to discuss, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I just know that from my experience in getting to know you, that you will be able to help a lot of people with their businesses.
Yeah, definitely.
So listen, Mike, thank you very much. I'll put the link in the podcast description so that people can actually check you out and hopefully sign up for you.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for your time, Roy. Right.
Thank you, Mike.
Just before I go, Roy is one of the founding members of my mastermind group, and every day we meet, he adds huge amount of value to the group.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome.
Okay. So that's all for the Speaking Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. As mentioned, we're on BitChute and YouTube. Sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating. Really helps. Until next week, take care.